Yo, 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 what's up, Cowboy Nation? It's your boy Hoodie KUSH up in here. Um, I don't know what's going on with the StreamYard, but I'm having some technical difficulties with it, and it's really starting to irk my soul. So I don't know what it is, but it's pissing me off. But otherwise, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Your boy Hoodie KUSH with the Basement Boys. You know what I'm saying? Getting it out the mud. But I'm just here to talk about the first wave of roster cuts that we have started today. Actually, it started Sunday. If you want to be honest, if you want to be technical, pardon me. It started Sunday. Sunday with Lael Collins. Lael Collins was the first leaf to fall when it came to roster cuts. But the thing about Lael Collins is, as good as he looked, it's not really a knock on him, right? It's more you got younger guys, and you probably seen more from those guys because they got to play more in the preseason. Um, but that's not to say that Lael Collins can't can't make an impact on this team, can't get back on this team. So by him being released, Lael Collins is a vested veteran. The fact that he's a vested veteran, he does not have to worry about going through waivers. So we can immediately bring him back on the practice squad. And I think that's probably the route that they're going to go. You probably got some of your information from a few of our trusted Cowboys content creators. I know there's some guys going live right now. Cowboys Collective. Shout out to John Machota, Fitz the King, Skywalker Steel, and Law Nation. Pretty sure you heard from Vox Lombardi earlier. Shout out to him. Crown Global Media. I'm not sure if Rome did anything yet, but I'm sure you will hear from Rome. But I just wanted to jump on and give you guys my broad scoops. You know what I'm saying? I want to see how many people hop up in here. Hey man, like, share, subscribe. Cost you nothing to be kind. You know what I mean? Help the channel grow. Um, the more you like it, the more people get to see, and the more of an audience I can cater to. But let's get straight into it. So already broke down the whole Lael Collins thing. We had a guy come in. I believe we got him as a free agent. Signed him Christian Matthews. He went down with an injury. I think it was game 2 of the preseason. By him going down with injury, that's a guy we put on IR. Or, yeah, we put him on IR. So he was also released. I believe that was an injury. I think we bought him out, bought out his injury, his however they explain it. Bought him out from the injured reserve, so he's no longer on his team. Is that really a big whoop? Probably not. It's not like we really got much out of him anyway. And again, we had 15, 16 offensive linemen on this team in the offseason, so it's down to like 14 now. Remember, Tyler Guyton is coming back off an injury, so there's no guarantee he's going to be ready for week 1. But it looks like he's pushing to get ready for week 1. Let go of another offensive lineman, and Nick Broker. Nick Broker, again, it's another one of those things. Like, you bring bodies in, they're camp bodies. See what you can get out of them. See who really has what it takes to make the team. And unfortunately for Nick Broker, there's other guys who were better. Akeem Adeniji, Johnny Cornelius, Nathan Thomas. Remember, we had Rob Jones. He's out with injury. He has a fracture in his neck. And Sadiq Charles. Sadiq Charles also down with injury. Not quite sure on the injury prognosis for him, but he is also out with injury. So, I mean, if we're serious about if the coaches are serious about running the ball and being physical up front, then you gotta go with the best of the best. Okay. And unfortunately, Nick Broker couldn't cut the mustard. We let go of a few UDFAs. One Troy Pride, another Tyler Neville, and another Josh Kelly. Now, I'm sure one, maybe two of these guys may clear waivers. may clear waivers. It's no guarantee. What I think we're hoping is maybe Josh Kelly and Troy Pride can clear waivers. But as far as Tyler Neville is concerned, Tyler Neville was up against it. Let's be honest, he was up against it. You have Jake Ferguson coming back healthy. He just got paid. Um, you got Brevin Spanford who's coming off of an injury, but Spanford showed a lot of promise. Like he was really making a push for tight end too. Then you have Luke Schoonmaker. Luke Schoonmaker, up and down with Luke. I think there's a good chance that Rivaldo Fairweather will make the 53. And that might be Betty bye-bye for Luke Schoonmaker. Just telling the truth. I'm not as high on Luke. Granted, he showed some things last season when we were decimated with injury. But again, sort of like the Jalen Tolbert thing for me, it was more by proxy. You had no other choice. Next man up. Did we get the same type of production that we got out of Jake Ferguson 2023? No, not even close. Not even close. So, and looking at Rivaldo Fairweather, I think he's a better athlete. He has better hands. He can play special teams, and that matters. Special teams matter. I'm not. I have to do a deeper dive as far as seeing what his blocking is like, but they're saying, from what Brian Broaddus is saying, that they really like Princeton Fant and for his blocking and his special teams. So, I mean, it's a very good chance that Luke Schoonmaker doesn't cut it by tomorrow. It's a very good chance that Rivaldo Fairweather may not cut it. Who knows? I mean, we're not the coaches. I'm not the coach. I'm not in that war room with them making the decisions. John Stevens bit the big one today. Unfortunately for John Stevens, because that young man had so much upside coming into the league. 2 years ago, if he never had a knee injury, I think he would have attempted to push Fergie out of tight end one. Gonna be honest. That's how high his upside was. That's how high his ceiling was. You know what I'm saying? I think he could have really pushed for the tight end one. But unfortunately, knee injury, and then to have a second knee injury, I don't know if it was the same knee or the other one, but to have a second injury, that hurt him even more. You know what they say? The best ability you have is your availability. And if you're not available, there's no way we can use you. So unfortunately, that's where John Stevens sits. John Stevens, I wish nothing but the best for him. Hopefully, we get to bring him back on the practice squad if he clears waivers, which I think he will. I mean, let's be honest, we couldn't get him on the field. There's not much you saw from him. We couldn't get him on the field for the past 2 years, and when we did get him on the field this year, it wasn't as clean as we would want it to be. So that's John Stevens. Now, we also cut an international player program person. His name is Denzel Daxon. DT, the thing about that is he's a free body on the practice squad. So not having him on the 53 doesn't hurt you. You know what I'm saying? You can always bring him back on the practice squad. And who knows? We may, anything could happen and where he could be called up, So Denzel Daxon has an opportunity to get back on the practice squad and remain with this team. We shall see. I'm not sure how the coaching staff views him. You know what I'm saying? It's Mike McCarthy was one thing. We're talking about Brian Schottenheimer. We're talking about Matt Eberflus. We're talking about Clayton Adams. These guys are preaching physicality. And if you can't bring the physicality, the violence that they want, then I don't think there's a place for you on this team, practice squad or otherwise. If we can get into it, we can get into the IR players. The IR players are right now Jonathan Mingo. And like I said yesterday on my live, I think Jonathan Mingo going to IR saves a receiver, whether it be Brooks or Tolbert, because I think Flournoy is safe. I don't think we're going to let go of Flournoy. Flournoy has showed us so much on special teams and the wide receiver room that he's making a push. He's making a push for at least wide receiver 4. And from what Brian Broaddus says, he expects us to carry 5. And I would like to think that Ryan Flournoy will definitely be that. Now, again, bodies that are safe due to Jonathan Mingo. You could say Flournoy. You can also say Tolbert. You can say Brooks. Those guys, it's sort of like when GP came in. Explained this last night. Sort of like when GP came in. When GP came in, it was like a shift. So now that Mingo's out on IR, he's out for 4 to 6 weeks, I believe. So we probably won't see him until week 5, week 4, week 5. The fact that he's out on IR, I mean, you need a body, right? So, unfortunately, that doesn't save Trayshawn Holden. Trayshawn Holden might end up, if clearing waivers, Trayshawn Holden might end up being a practice squad body for now. You know what I'm saying? Anything is possible. So that's what's going on in the wide receiver room. Now let's go to the running back room. I understand that Cowboys Nation really likes Phil Maffa, RJ Ochoa. I've seen some things from him on Twitter, and a bunch of our other fans, and everybody's clamoring to keep Phil Maffa. That was the fear. The fear was losing out on Phil Maffa. Well, we can quell those fears because Phil Maffa magically is suffering an injury, a shoulder injury, somewhat of the similar injury that he had in college. So now he's on IR. So not only does that save him, not only does that keep him on the 53, or at least keeps him on the squad. He may not be on the 53, but it keeps him on the team. That opens up a spot for another body, whether it be Miles Sanders, Malik Davis, Deuce Vaughn. Who knows how that's going to work out? And I say with IR, you have 4 weeks to activate them. You know what I'm saying? You get 2 bodies. You get 2 bodies on IR that you can bring back. You know what I'm saying? So within the 4-week period, you can activate them. If they're not activated within that 4-week period, then you lose them for the season. That's an unfortunate thing. But if, let's just say for sake of an argument, the running back room is super tight, say the running back room is doing really well, then it really won't hurt to miss out on Phil Maffa for the year. Because remember, you have Miles Sanders for a year, if we decide to keep him, which I doubt. And you have Javonte Williams for, I think, a year, maybe 2. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like he doesn't have an opportunity to be on this 53 next year if we don't activate him back from IR. Same thing goes for Mingo. I understand that we spent the 4th round pick on him. You know what I'm saying? And with that being said, we're going to want to see what he has. That's fair. I mean, Jonathan Mingo has showed us in training camp and preseason that he can run routes. He can high point the ball. He can actually track the ball really well. He's got some speed. I haven't seen him much on special teams, but I think you found that already. I think you found that already with Jalen Brooks, Ryan Flournoy. So having him now, here's the bad part to that, right? If say this wide receiver room is doing so well with CD, George Pickens, let's exit them out. Turpin, Tolbert, Flournoy. Then questions are going to be raised. You know what I'm saying? Do we just let him rock out on IR, or do we attempt to bring him back? Dak Owens, what's the deal, bro? You know what I'm saying? do we bring him back? That's the question. You know what I'm saying? I know you're jumping in late, but I'm pretty sure you already heard Dak Owens. Yesterday, Sunday, we released Lael Collins. The good thing about that is we can bring him back on the practice squad because he doesn't have to worry about waivers, being so he's a vested veteran. Christian Matthews was another guy, but I don't. Well, no, I had some technical. Something's up with StreamYard, man. StreamYard's acting stupid. Like my mic goes out, then just the whole thing goes kaput. So I don't know what the hell's wrong with that, but I'll figure it out. So I had to quickly jump on YouTube, so that way I can at least get out there. Tyler Neville, I'm pretty sure that just like everybody's heard, you've heard it from Law, you've heard it from CFT, you've heard it from Foots the King and the Cowboys Collective. You heard it from these guys. I'm just putting my own little spin on it. You got Tyler Neville. I'm saying Tyler Neville really didn't see much from him. It's not a really big loss, but again, another practice squad body we can use. You know what I'm saying, if he clears waivers. Denzel Jackson, we're definitely bringing him back because on the practice squad, he doesn't count towards your practice squad. I think you're only supposed to have 17 to 18 players. You can have that one other player and it doesn't count. So that would be Denzel Jackson as an international player program. You know what I'm saying? He's from like Guatemala or something. I don't know where the fuck he's from. But wherever he's from, he doesn't count on our practice squad. Josh Kelly, which was unfortunate. I wanted to see more from Josh Kelly, but when it comes time to cut time, and week one's next week, we got them pigeons. It's not time to dilly dally. It's time to get right to business. You know what I'm saying, tough conversations all around the board. John Stevens Jr., I think that one was probably the one that stung a little bit because 2 years ago, him coming in, he looked like he could probably supplant Jake Ferguson for tight end one, or at least battle with him. Then the knee injury happened, and then 2024, another injury happened. So it kind of pushed him back, pushed him to the wayside, and he had a lot of it. Yes, indeed, unfortunately. So now you look at it like we have Rivaldo Fairweather. Now, I understand Rivaldo Fairweather is a fresh face, and I understand that Schoonmaker's been here for the past couple of years. He has some NFL experience. I get that, but you are limited with Luke Schoonmaker. You were severely limited with Luke Schoonmaker, especially athletically in the pass game. I think that Rivaldo Fairweather will challenge him for the tight end 3. I honestly think that he would. And we're going to carry 3, but adding Hunter Lipke to that room, you know what I'm saying, as the H-back, fullback, kind of, utility guy, the Kyle Juszczyk. You know what I'm saying? Troy Pride. We saw some good things. We saw some good things from Troy Pride in the preseason and mini camp and all that. We saw some good things, but was it enough to keep him here? I don't think it was, only because of the progress that Trayvon Diggs has made. Trayvon Diggs has made stellar progress. I think the Cowboys owe him that $500K. I think the Cowboys owe him an apology, but that's neither here nor there. He could be ready for week 1, but I'm projecting week 2, week 3. We're either going to see him play the Bears or the Giants or the Bears. I would prefer the Bears. Give them as much time as possible. What they're planning on doing is giving him an 8-week ramp up in his conditioning. You know what I'm saying? Pretty sure you heard it from Brian Broaddus earlier. But again, put my own spin on it. So I think having Diggs back, sort of like the GP thing, sort of like the Jonathan Mingo injury, it kind of shakes up the room a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Now you have options. And those options are, do you push Bland inside? If when Trayvon Diggs comes back, do you push Bland inside, or do you keep him on the boundary and push Kyer inside, or do you push Diggs? We already know Diggs ain't going inside; he's a boundary. So, like, those are that's a good problem to have. You know what I'm saying? With the progress that Kyer Elam has showed us throughout the preseason and training camp, he's definitely a good pickup. You know what I'm saying? He wants it. So I don't see why we can't finagle something in a way to where we have all three of those guys on the field. Remember, when Deron Bland came into the league, Deron Bland set the world on fire, just like Trayvon Diggs did. Then the next year he comes out and does it again. But here's the problem. They haven't been on the field together in almost a year, almost 2 years. They have not been on the Trayvon Diggs and Deron Bland have not been on the field together. If we really want to see a no-fly zone, because I think that's what's going to happen once Trayvon Diggs comes back, we're going to have a no-fly zone. We're going to have Diggs, Elam, Bland, no-fly zone. I think that's exactly how it's going to be. So it's not a bad thing that we let go of Troy Pride. Remember, we still have Zion Childress. He has some learning to do. He has some growing up to do. I don't think Keemon Hall sticks around. And with Trayvon Diggs coming back in, that might save us from Andrew Booth. Okay? That might save us from Andrew Booth. I don't want to see Andrew Booth. I don't want to see Andrew Booth go out there and have PTSD when we go play the Giants and he lines up against what's the kid's name? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. When he lines up against Malik Neighbors, I don't want that PTSD. I don't want that. So, Diggs, take your time, but be judicious. Okay, be judicious about how you work. Okay, get your conditioning back, get up to game speed, and please, for the life of me, get this guy off the field. Okay, I don't think he's going to touch the field anyway, mainly because you got Kyer Elam, Deron Bland, Zion Childress, and or Israel McCormick. Because I don't think Keemon Hall makes this team. You know what I'm saying? I was saying about the IR players, the guys we have on IR. We have Phil Maffa now on IR, and we have Jonathan Mingo on IR. Jonathan Mingo being on IR shakes up the wide receiver room, which means someone is safe, whether it be Jalen Brooks or Jalen Tolbert. I think Flournoy, no matter what, makes this team. I thoroughly think that Ryan Flournoy has showed us enough to fight for wide receiver 4 behind Turpin. Okay, let me make that absolutely clear. Not behind Tolbert, but behind Turpin. I would like to carry 6 wide receivers, but that's not going to happen because we're going to have to go short somewhere. We're going to have to go short somewhere to either make up for the cornerback room or make up for the running back room. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to have to go short somewhere. Phil Maffa being on IR kind of saved someone as well, whether it be Miles Sanders, Malik Davis. Personally, I think Malik Davis can be a really good running back 3, really good running back 2 or 3, depending on J-Dom Blue's recovery from the low ankle sprain. Now, granted, it's a low ankle sprain, 2 weeks maybe, but he looks like he was at practice today. Looks like he's raring to go. But still, I would be cautious. You know what I'm saying? So I think keeping Malik Davis would definitely help in that sense. So I mean, that's just the first wave of cuts. I mean, we still got another 20 to go. That was just 8 in the first in 2 days. 8 cuts in 2 days. I think we can expect some more as the night goes on. We can definitely expect a lot tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, your phone's going to probably light up and get bombarded with a lot more. So just be prepared. And as Shadi said, there might be some surprises. There might be some surprise cuts. So I mean, if you're looking at some of these guys, that you would hope to make the team, temper your expectations. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did a live last night and I was discussing my 53, how I saw it. I'm gonna touch on it again. Okay. We already know now from what Brian was saying, what Brian Broaddus was saying earlier. Brian Broaddus was saying that he thinks we run with two quarterbacks, meaning Will Greer will probably go to the practice squad. Which, okay, I get it. I don't understand how one game cements Joe Milton taking a backup spot, but it will help as far as him getting reps. Okay, because he'll at least get those in practice. Which isn't a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. But I would have rather a vested veteran. And Will Greer is that. Let's be honest. Will Greer is that. He may not have seen a lot of action, but he's been in the league 3 years. 3, 4 years. So I don't see why we couldn't give him more time. We didn't do him any service in preseason by giving Joe Milton so many snaps. You know what I'm saying? Letting him play an entire game in the first preseason game, letting him play almost an entire game in the second. But it was a dog water show on both from both quarterbacks. Game 2, game 3, you saw a lot better from Joe Milton. So I mean, you see the progression, and he's getting it. Okay. Now I'm going to talk about the as far as my 53 is concerned. I'm going to talk about the running backs because I think that's where we make the most sense. You know what I'm saying? That's where we'll take the biggest hit. I really don't think Miles Sanders makes this team. I am Bohemian about that. I would think that Deuce Vaughn would make this team before Miles Sanders, from what we've seen. Okay. Miles Sanders doesn't look like the 2022 Miles Sanders. He looks a lot like the 2023, 2024 Carolina Miles Sanders. That's not a good look. It's not a good look. It's like, you ask the question, it's like, is it the running back or is it the offensive line or the organization? And I tried to, give him the benefit of the doubt. It's the bad organization. Very good. Carolina's a bad organization. Let's be honest. They're horrible. But judging off what I've seen from him, it's starting to look like it was the other way around. It was more like maybe it is Miles Sanders. Maybe Philadelphia was the place for him, and the fact that they moved off from him either killed his confidence or took so much of a blow that he can't return from it. You know what I'm saying? He can't go back to that. So how I had my wide receiver room set up was, of course, Javonte Williams. Granted, we haven't seen what Javonte Williams can do, except for in practice. We haven't seen him in the live game reps. Jadon Blue, Phil Maffa, and I'm pounding the table, man. Malik Davis. I think we carry 4. I would think. Well, now that Maffa's on IR, I think Malik Davis has a real shot at least being running back 3. I think he does. He showed us a lot, at least in the first preseason game, limited attempts in the second preseason game, very, very limited. In fact, I don't think he got any in the third game. So I'm not going to say he's safe, but I would love to have him. I think he runs hard. I think he has very good vision, good speed. You know what I'm saying? Real shifty. That's the kind of guy you want. Wide receivers, we already had the discussion, where it will be Lamb, Pickens, Turpin, Tolbert, Flournoy, Brooks, because Mingo is on IR. So there's no reason for you to put him in that conversation because he's on IR for 4 to 6 weeks. I say 2 to 4 weeks now, because what was it? 2 games ago, I think it was the second preseason game he got injured. So yeah. I wouldn't expect to see him until week 4, week 5, just to get a clear view. But we have to see what this wide receiver room looks like up until then. Okay, week one, we play them Pigeons next week. So I mean, we're gonna find out real quick. what this team is hitting for. You know what I'm saying? We're going to find out real quick. If we're looking at the tight ends, as I said, I believe it's Fergie, Spanford, Fairweather. And then you throw Lipke into that equation, H-back, fullback, tight end, utility guy. Offensive line, I really didn't have Leo Collins in here. I didn't. When I went through my mock 53, I took Guyton, Tyler Smith, BB, Booker, Steele. We already know that. That's the baseline right there. We already know that. So then we have Nathan Thomas, who showed promise. TJ Bass. A lot of people are iffy about TJ Bass, but being as though Sadiq Charles and Robert Jones are both out, it's kind of hard to just be like, I'm moving off of them. But then you can also have the conversation of Hakeem Adeniji, Johnny Cornelius. You can also have that conversation. But I think they're both more tackles instead of guards. TJ Bass gives you guard. He gives you good guard play. Brock Hoffman, of course, guard center, hybrid. And Awesome Richards. Awesome Richards, because I'm still high on Awesome Richards. I'm still high on Awesome Richards. He'd be a really good swing. I'm not going to say swing tackle. I'm not going to say swing guard. He's a good swing. You know what I'm saying? Because he can play almost every position. And if you need him in dire straits where you don't have a center, then he's been getting some center reps. So I mean, that gives you that there. You know what I'm saying? I got 9. I have 9 offensive linemen. 9 offensive linemen, 4 tight ends. I'd like to carry 6 wide receivers, but if we carry 5, fine, so be it. 4 running backs. Well, 3 technically, because that will put Mafo on IR. And they say 2 quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? If we're going over to the edge room is where we get a little tricky. Okay, I would like to carry 6. And if I was to carry 6, these are the 6 that I would carry. Of course, there's questions. Michael Parsons, of course, Dante Fowler, Donovan Ezaraku, Sam Williams with a question, James Houston, Tyrus Wheat. Now, if I'm looking at these guys, right, we got James Houston, who's shown us that he's a wrecking ball. He can definitely get at the quarterback. He's a wrecking ball. Donovan Ezaraku, we haven't seen him get to the quarterback, but we've seen the flash in his play. We already know what Dante Fowler, we already know what Michael Parsons is. Sam Williams is the conundrum for me. Sam Williams and Tyrus Wheat, they're the conundrum for me. Because even though we have a slew of edges, is Sam Williams Slam Williams. You know what I'm saying? We really didn't get to see Slam Williams in the preseason or in practice. We got to see Sam Williams trying to make his comeback. He's got speed. I mean, you can tell he can run and he's good, but is it mental for him? That's the issue. Is it a mental thing? You know what I'm saying? So I'm not sure what Sam Williams we're going to get. We could either get the Sam Williams we've seen through this past offseason, or we can go back and get Slam Williams before the injury. I would love to have Slam Williams back because he was a dog. You know what I'm saying? And just add that with, you got Micah Parsons, Dante Fowler, and then you bring in the second wave and you got Donovan Ezaraku, James Houston, or Sam Williams and James Houston, or Sam Williams and Donovan Ezaraku. You know what I'm saying? The odd man out there will be Tyrus Wheat. But the thing Tyrus Wheat gives you is special teams. Same thing with Sam, but Sam was more of a liability on special teams that we've seen in the past. He's more of a liability. Penalties, you know what I'm saying, focus, lack of, and discipline. So, I mean, would it be a bad thing to keep 6 just for that purpose? I don't think so. I think it will be a good thing to keep that there because no matter what, Tyrus Wheat is still your depth. We're going over to DTs. There's questions there as well. But the question isn't so much like that. Okay, so the question is, if we keep Mozzie, that means we're gonna run with 5. We're gonna run with 5 edges. If we keep Mozzie, If we don't keep Mozzie, that means we're going to run with 6 edges. Me personally, that's just the way I'm thinking. But as far as the DTs are concerned, I have Jay Toia, Perion Winfrey, Oso Digizua, Solomon Thomas. That leaves out Tommy Akingbasote. That leaves out, who else is it? I think we have another one. Well, Denzel Jackson is gone, so and he's only going to be on the practice squad. So that's how I would like to keep that. You know what I'm saying? Jay Toia, super huge body. You know what I'm saying? His get off is ridiculous. His get off is ridiculous. He's got power. I don't really want him. I don't really want Jay Toia rushing the quarterback. I understand that's what Matt Eberflus wants. He wants an attacking style defensive line, and I get that. I'm all for it. I am all for it. But when it comes to Jay Toia, I want him to continue to do what he's been doing. And now, if he adds that to his bag, cool. I'm not going to complain. If he can get to the quarterback 3, 4, 5 times, I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? If he can get 6, 7 tackles for loss in the season, I'll take it. I'm not going to complain. You know what I'm saying? But that's what Winfrey is for. Winfrey is more your 1 tech, 3 tech. You know what I'm saying? He's more that guy. You know what I'm saying? He's a hybrid. He's got the power. He's got the speed. He can definitely cause problems within the center of the offensive line. Definitely. And he can get to the quarterback. But at the same time, you kind of want to change the pace to where you can be assured that your linebackers can be clean. Because if you just got a bunch of 3 techs on the floor, and everybody's attacking the quarterback, but no one's getting home, that means your linebackers are not getting home either. You know what I'm saying? They're not staying clean either. Speaking of linebackers, I want to carry 5. I'm going to carry 5 linebackers only because the question with one is, when someone comes back, who do you oust? So I got Maris Leofau, Kenneth Murray Jr., Jack Sanborn, Shamar James. Shamar James definitely has a spot on this team. And Damone Clark. Damone Clark has shown us some things. But the question is, as Vach would say, redundancies, right? There's 3 guys on this in this linebacker room that are completely redundant. Kenneth Murray, Shamar James, and Damone Clark. Meaning, what I mean by redundant is they're almost literally the same player. Very cerebral, great athletics. They can attack the ball. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of the same guy. So when Overshown comes back, who do you part ways with? Do you part ways with Kenneth Murray, who wants to be the linebacker, but honestly, I think Jack Sanborn is probably the better of the two as the Mike. If you would have Kenneth Murray playing on the strong side or the will, you know what I'm saying? I think he would work better for him. Same thing with Shamar James. I think Maris Leofau and Jack Sanborn can be interchangeable. They both can be your Mike linebacker. I mean, don't get me wrong. It wouldn't have hurt if Kenneth Murray was a Mike linebacker. It wouldn't, because you're allowing Maris Leofau to just attack all day. You're just allowing Shamar James just to attack all day, playing coverage, whatever's needed. When Overshown comes back, that's when you really start to see the dogs come out to play. You know what I'm saying? For some reason, DeMarvion Overshown he's a freak of nature, man. Like he showed from the first injury, like there's no drop off. And I honestly believe that there will be 0 drop off when he comes back this year. Granted, we're not looking to see him until at least November, Thanksgiving, the latter part of November, which isn't bad, because if we're in playoff contention, that actually helps. That actually helps. You know what I'm saying? I think we already discussed corners, but we're going to do it again anyway. Fuck it. Why not? So, Bland, Elam, Me personally, I would have without Trayvon, without Trayvon. Me personally, I would have Israel McQuamu in the slot. That's just me. I've seen him play slot. I've seen the work that he can do in slot. He's been very good against the AJ Browns and the Devontae Smiths. He was very good against Chris Godwin. He's not a bad corner. You know what I'm saying? He's got length, he's got size, he's got speed, he can diagnose, he can high point the ball. You saw it one-handed interception, stuff like that. So, and then you have Zion Childress. The question for me is, Diggs comes back, that would make McQuamu a healthy scratch, but you can interchange him with the safeties depending on what happens. Okay. I understand we got injured players. Rebel, you can redshirt him. We don't need him right now. We don't need him. It's not a necessity for him to be out there. You got Andrew Booth. I don't even have him on my 53. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't. I don't have him on my 53. You got Kalen Carson. That's my question. Does Diggs coming back push Kalen Carson off the roster? Does Diggs coming back push Kalen Carson and Andrew Booth off this roster? Because I don't think he pushes Childress. I don't think he pushes McQuamu. I think he like the same thing with Luke Schoonmaker. Kalen Carson has been injured the past 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Last year he seatbelt was a baby seat. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't project we're going to get much out of Kalen Carson. Is he a depth piece? Fine, cool. But then you also have to take into account we have Josh Butler, and Josh Butler looked really good last season until the knee injury. And the way that him and Trayvon are looking, and during OTAs, minicamp, preseason, they were looking really good. Like they were tracking to be back almost around the same time. Like Josh Butler's, cutting, he's running, high pointing. Like the kid looks like he's actually making a run to get back, which is good. So, like, if you have those 6, 7 guys after redshirting Rebel, after moving on from Kalen Carson, sending them down to the practice squad or what have you, same thing with Andrew Booth, you still have 6 viable corners. It's not a bad look. It's really not. Safeties. Me personally, there is another question. There's questions everywhere, of course. There's questions everywhere. But you have Wilson Hooker, Wanye Thomas Bell, and me personally, I think Elijah Clark has done more of his fair share in order to at least be considered to make the squad. I don't want to see him on the practice squad. I want him on the 53 because he can do something Donovan Wilson can't. Cover. Elijah Clark can cover. Not only can he hit, not only can he play in the run, he can also cover. That's something that Donovan Wilson can't do. Donovan Wilson can hit. He can play the run. He can, the Lions game, picking off Jared Goff, which is no big whoop. But, being instinctual, I'll give him a leg up on that just because of experience. You know what I'm saying? But if you're asking me, who asked this question? I think it was CFT. He asked a question about Miles Sanders and Phil Maffa. Is Miles Sanders, because you have Miles Sanders contractually for 1 year. You have control over of Phil Maffa for 4 years. So is Miles Sanders in his 1 year, 4 years better than Phil Maffa? Well, I'm going to pose that same question. I think Donovan's almost at the end of his contract. Is Donovan Wilson 3 years better than what Elijah Clark is now? I don't think so. I think Elijah Clark has more upside. I think Elijah Clark has better instincts. I think Elijah Clark makes plays when necessary. I don't think Elijah Clark will have the issues that Donovan Wilson has. I think he's a little bit more cerebral. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't be surprised if Wilson gets not so much pushed off the roster, but pushed out of the starting lineup. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised in the slightest. I wouldn't even be surprised if Malik Hooker got pushed off the starting lineup. He's on the wrong side of 30. You know what I'm saying? Now, the one thing that saves him is understanding Eberflus's scheme because he's been in it. I mean, in Indy, even if it was just for a year, but he was in it for a year, so he understands it. Same thing with Jack Sanborn. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm a little bit more high on Sanborn than I am Kenneth Murray. But that's not to say Kenneth Murray isn't someone who can't make a big impact. You know, so with that being said, man, that's just my projection of the 53, and with the roster cuts that we made, we're making progress. We're seeing we're going to see who's able to make an impact on this team. That is the whole point of preseason. So instead of everybody being all up or down, like, oh man, we didn't win a preseason game, or we only won one preseason, it wasn't about the wins or the losses. Yes, it's about execution. Let's make this clear. It's about execution. You have to execute. But it's also about evaluation. You have to evaluate these players because these are the questions that are going to be asked. Can this person elevate this team better than this person? What does this person do in the position that this person is lacking in said position? You know what I'm saying? Hence why Flournoy made his move. Flournoy is running crispier routes now. He understands leverage. He's getting the open. You know what I'm saying? That's something we haven't seen from backup wide receivers since it was just CD Lamb. Again, I don't know how much more I can stress this. Dak Prescott led the league in tight window completions. That's a good thing and a bad thing. A good thing because your quarterback can thread the needle. A bad thing because he has to. He has to thread the needle in order to get a complete pass. That's not a good thing. That's not. Because that tells me that your wide receivers aren't getting separation. And from what I've been seeing from Flournoy, Brooks, Mingo, you know what I'm saying? These guys are gaining separation. All right, I get it. Second, third string, you know what I'm saying, guys? They're not the starters that we're going to see, but still it gives you some semblance of hope. Like, all right, well, if they're getting it now, they can get it in the regular season when we absolutely need it against third cornerbacks, second cornerbacks. You know what I'm saying? Because understand, like, just because you're a starter doesn't mean you're that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, we said it before. Even Jalen Tolbert should be able to succeed greatly as a third wide receiver going up against slot corners, going up against the third best corner on their roster. He should be able to. I haven't seen it yet, but he should be able to. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, man, I enjoyed getting on, talk about the first wave of roster cuts. We're going to hear a lot more between tonight and tomorrow. My phone's been lighting up, so I'm sure some more names have been axed off the chopping block. So I mean, let's just wait and see. Don't get your hopes up too high. Week 1 is approaching. So with that being said, man, it's your boy Hoodie Kush, man. I'm glad I got to be on. Good looking for being there, Dak Combs. Whoever that second viewer is, thanks for hitting the like button. Share, subscribe, tell your friends. The more people hit the like, the more people see, the more I get noticed, and the more content I can be able to give y'all. So again, man, I appreciate y'all being here. Thanks for taking time out of your day to join me. So with that being said, it's your boy Hoodie Kush. I'll get with y'all later. Basement Boys. Oh.